Good afternoon. Marty Coleman here. Going to do a little bit of briefing for the North Gulf Challenge race. That's cruisers are going to start on Sunday and racers are going to start on Monday. So I'm just going to go through a little bit of the forecast. I've done some expedition modeling just to kind of show kind of the optimized path across the Gulf, and we'll kind of go through that a little bit. So let's take a look at the kind of the big picture. I always like to look to see what's happening big picture wise before I delve into the details to kind of get a sense of what's happening around. And as you can see here, this is Sunday at 12 Zulu time, and you can see the front has passed through. Still a little bit of rain chance left for us, a little bit, but it's just kind of have to see how it plays out here. When the fronts cross the Gulf of Mexico, lots of things change. I always tell everybody that the forecasts are great, but once they hit the Gulf, it changes. It can change dramatically, either better or worse, depending on what happens. So lots can happen. It's always good to keep an eye on that as the front kind of rolls across. But at least the front will be by and the wind will be out of the north. So looking as a trend, big picture, the H is over Oklahoma here a little bit. And let's kind of progress here a little bit, see what we got. That's Monday or Sunday night, midnight, coming back in here to Monday at 12 Zulu. So you can just see here the high just kind of moves down here a little bit. Should be able to get to Pensacola without, we're going to get a little bit of lighter air right at the end, depending on how fast you get there, but it will lighten up a little bit towards the end. But you can see this front's very slow moving, so and high is not pushing very quickly down here either. So that's kind of the big picture trend of what's going to happen over this race time frame. So let's take a look at kind of I always like windy. It gives me a good visual representation of what's going on. Here's kind of, we'll just look at the rain chance and thunder right now. Sunday at noon, you can see the weather's kind of down here a little bit. And as I progress here a little bit, you can see pretty much all of it stays south of us. A little bit, moisture still in the air as it comes in. We get into Monday, but everybody should be, somewhere heading up in this neck of the woods by Monday morning. Getting you guys across. You can see there. So let's go look at the models. I have done a couple of little things. Let me show you. So this is Expeditions output. What I did is I took a Beneteau 47 7 and just kind of ran a predicted, forecast. I can take forecast and current and the polars of the boat, and we can kind of predict what the optimum path is, and what Expedition's done here is they basically say going a little bit left of Rumline, gets you out in a little more breeze, and then at the very end the wind does go right a little bit, and I'll show you the numbers here in a minute, but that's kind of the optimal route that Expedition has taken the current forecast. So I take the current forecast that I have and I can plunk it in and run it. So I don't know if a lot of you guys have Expedition. I'm sure some of you all do. It's a great software. It's unbelievable, the capabilities that Expedition does, and helps optimize the forecast in our boat to do the best we can in a race. So let's take a look at the data on this a little bit. So this is the data that gets produced, and the dark line here is actually the millibars, the pressure radiant, so I'm not too worried about that one. But the other one that I do like to look at is the thinner line here. Across the top is our time. So you can see here I started right around 11 o'clock on Sunday, and this goes through Monday. And you guys will be starting roughly in 15, 16 knots of breeze. And you can see down here, the numbers down here correspond with the wind angles. And then these little boats kind of shows you the angle of the pressure of the wind and the angles that we'll be sailing across the course. So this is as if the model, we show the optimal route and then the wind angles and strengths. So let's go through this a little bit. So again, starting around 16, 17 knots, and you get out in the Gulf a little bit, you can see it's a little windier, close to 20s, and then it kind of drops off a little bit at night, getting close to midnight. It'll be a little bit lighter. It's forecasted to be a little bit lighter, and then it comes back up again in the morning, up in the upper teens, and then it starts to taper off and gets down into, by the time you get to Monday evening, you can see here the wind dips down, but then it kind of comes back a little bit at the end. With a little bit, you see a right rotation here. These are the wind angles right here, 22 to 45 to 80 degrees. And then the wind picks up and it actually pulls back a little bit to 60. And again, this is based on the Beneteau. Some boats may be a little faster, a little slower, but based on their polars, this is kind of what we're looking at. Okay, now let's look at this at a different different type. This is the raw data, or the data that gets produced. And what's nice about this is you can build a polars for your boat, and you can put in your sail types that you use, and it'll apply that to determining what the optimal routes are. So let's look at this. Here again, we start around 11, March 19th, which is tomorrow. And you can see here true wind directions in that 19, 20. As you get out into the Gulf a little bit, we're in the 20s. So that's what the true wind direction's telling you, right? And then it goes a little bit north here later in the evening, and then starts to pull back a little bit. And then in the morning, you're back in the 20s and 30s. So that's kind of what the direction looks like over the race course as you're sailing through the race course. And then here's the strengths, right? We talked about, again, it's just the same representation with just the numbers here. So 15 knots, 18, 19 knots here, and then it kind of comes back down again. And then here's your true wind angle, right? You're going to start, kind of running a, broad reaching a good bit here at the start, and then once you get out past the last marker, out past the Skyway, and you can go straight up to Pensacola. You can do a little right turn, and the wind's going to probably be about 90 degrees. True wind angle, 80, 70, 60s. You can see you're going to be sailing somewhere between 80s and 60s for quite a while here. And then, back down at the end, you can see the wind lightens up a little bit and turns right and left again. So here's your boat speed, and again, that's target for this particular boat. Your boat would be different depending on all that stuff. So that's just another representation. I think I have one more here, this one and that one. Now it's the three basic models across the race course. So let's look at, so let's look at here. Let's start at, I think it's going to be Sunday, March 19th at 11 a.m. So this is kind of where we are at the start of the race. You can see it's quite windy out in the Gulf, right in Tampa Bay. Again, we talked about that 50. So the forecast right now is 15 knots at the start. You can see that north-northeast, and then let's move forward here a little bit. So this is 2 p.m. Get this out of the way here. A little heavier wind starts to move south a little bit, and then let's go 5 p.m. You can see the heavy stuff's already moved south. You guys will be somewhere out in the Gulf here, heading what was the rum line? What did we see? What the rum line was? What, 311-ish? So that's going to be kind of here. So you guys will be out in here. Let's see what kind of winds we're looking at. 5 p.m. 14 knots. We're just going to kind of cycle through here a little bit. 11 p.m. And here's Monday at 5 a.m. Be up somewhere up in this neck of the woods. Again, you can see where the wind stays in pretty nicely for everybody, except for then end. Move this down just a little bit here. So Monday at 5, let's go through here. That's 11 a.m. Still see the pressure, still a lot of pressure, so gonna be a pretty nice starboard tack all the way over there. 2 p.m., 5 p.m. on Monday, still lots of pressure. And it backed a little bit there, as we saw in the forecast with our optimal route, and then again it slides right again. 11 p.m. on Monday. So again, plenty of pressure to get everybody through that. I think we looked at, let's look at this. So Sunday, this is kind of the rain. I don't think there's really going to be much moisture in the air early on. You can see here the front, again, it's south of us. I mean, we'll still get a little bit of moisture coming in here. Let's look at Sunday afternoon. Still very not much. I think, should be, other than the waves coming over the bow, should be pretty nice here. Going to be pretty chilly though. You can see temperature-wise, 40s, 46s, 48s. So make sure you got your foul weather gear. Make sure you got enough clothes to keep you warm. Make sure you wear your life jackets on board. Definitely on deck at night. Always a good practice to do 50 through. So going to be a little bit of a chilly ride. Especially when you're sailing into the wind, upwind, and 15, 18 knots of breeze, plus what you're going upwind, it'll feel like over 20 knots of breeze across the deck. So the wind kind of comes down a little bit here, and then it finally gets. So again, going to be pretty chilly. Make sure you've got plenty of clothes, but I think it'll be pretty good. You might get a little bit of Sunday moisture, maybe very little, but pretty cloudy, I think, over that. Let's look at the weather radar. So this is kind of local. This is still stuff coming through. So there you go. There's your forecast. I think you guys will have a really nice sail up there. Everybody stay safe, and I hope everybody has a really good time. So enjoy your race, have fun, and good luck.